Hello and welcome to Medill Sports Talk. This is Can You Dig It? The show that reflects on the latest in the world of college volleyball. I'm Chris Cadeau. Alongside me is former college volleyball standout and current insider for Volleyball magazine, Kristen Keller. Kristen, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
The focus this week, men's volleyball. And as we roll into the heart of college scheduling, things are heating up in the rankings. Kristen, as we get a first look at this list, what stands out to you the most?
All right, well, the top three teams have remained the same the entire time. So Long Beach State, they're 15-0. Hawaii, they're 12-0. UC Irvine, they've just been killing it. They've been beating pretty much everybody except the top two teams. But teams 4 through 10 have remained the same the whole time. Pepperdine dropped a little bit on the list, but that's after they lost to UCLA and USC, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But Lewis moved up in the rankings. They were 10, now they're 7 after a huge win against Loyola. And then now Loyola is down to number 9. They are just lucky that they only dropped to number 9. BYU, they had a little bit of a rough week, so that's why they were able to stay where they are. Spots 11 through 15 throughout the whole season have always remained the same, but USC moved up 2 spots this week, and honestly, Chris, I think they might be able to break the top 10 this week. So we'll see how they play, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well.
Well, moving along, last Friday was a date circled on the calendar for many inside the volleyball world as 2 of the nation's premier programs took aim at each other. Kristen, in-state rivals, then number 10 Lewis, took on then number 7 Loyola at Gentile. We were both there. Your take on what happened to Loyola and any surprises there?
I was a little surprised. You know, Loyola was number 7, Lewis was number 10, but not even just looking at the numbers. If you're looking at the passion that was on the court, it was at Lewis. Loyola was dead, their defense was poor, and we're going to take a look at a video right now that shows just how their defense was so screwed up. So, if you take a look at the video that's going to be playing on the screen, it shows a huge hole in the block that Loyola had. So see, right there. And because of that hole, Will Tischler was not able to play on defense. And yes, they're trying to say that the ball should have been out, but even if it wasn't, they wouldn't have been there. And on top of that, Loyola only had 2 players that stood out. Congratulations to Colin Mahan, by the way, for getting 1,000 career kills. He had 18 kills on the night. Paul Narup was in the teens as well, but those were the only 2 players. And typically for Loyola, they have a huge night. They typically always have a few players. Lewis had those players tonight. So honestly, can't say it was a huge surprise, but it was a little bit.
Huge achievement for Loyola's Colin Mahan. I know it's hard to really look at personal achievements, but 1,000 kills is a big deal. He hit that career milestone this past weekend. It's not over, and that's for sure. Lewis and Loyola, they're going to hook up again on March the 15th, so we look forward to seeing that. Now, it's time to move into our Who's Hot Snapshot for the week. You know where my mind's at. We know Lewis is going to be flying high after that win last week. Who else you got, or are the Flyers going to stay hot going forward?
Well, I really think the Flyers are still going to be doing well. That's a huge win for them against Loyola. But to be quite honest, Long Beach State is who I think is, yes, they're the reigning national champions. Yes, they're 15-0. But what's really amazing about what they're doing right now is that they've only lost 1 set this entire season, which means they've beat every team 3-0 and only had 1 team that took a set from them, which was USC, who now I think deserves a little bit more of a conversation. So USC, although they are ranked number 11, they have been beating some big name teams. Like recently they beat Pepperdine, they beat some other big teams throughout the season. And honestly, I think it's time for them to shine. They're really gonna be there and they're gonna be making some noise. I'm excited to see how they do throughout the season with having Long Beach State, Stanford, and BYU coming up throughout the rest of their season. And now there's the rest of the pack that's coming along, but any team can beat any other team on a night. So,
I mean, and that's for sure in the aspect when you look at the top tier talent, as you get past number 10 and on, it's not as competitive, but the top 10 is very cannibalistic. Finally, 12 players from across the country will get the chance to play for the U.S. national team in Napoli, Italy this July. You had a first glance at the roster that was just released last week. It includes 1 player from Loyola and 3 from Lewis. Kristen, how does the roster selection resonate with you?
Okay, so I'm going to go through these top few people. So the opposites, the setters, and the middles, I all agree with. They're all top contenders, they're all great at what they do, and they're all in the top rankings as well. But we're going to talk about these outside hitters in the libero. For the outsides, the entire job is to put the ball away. And the people that they have on this list obviously aren't doing that. If you look at the top 50 on the NCAA men's rankings, you can tell that they aren't getting the numbers. They're not ranked. They really aren't. So how can you expect them to put the ball away in national competition if they can't do it here in America? That's my thoughts on that. But we'll see. I do agree with Julian Moses, though. He is a very strong player. But then we have Michael Simmons here, who's from Lewis, who I really think that he needs to be someone different. I don't really agree with him. I don't think that he's a huge talent for them. So we'll see how they play in July, but I think they might struggle in that department.
It's definitely primed to be a fight to the finish. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Huge thanks to the tireless Kristen Keller for experting us through the current men's volleyball landscape. For Kristen Keller, I'm Chris Cadeau, and can you dig it?